What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another trade recap. Today is April the 7th. It's a Tuesday today. Nice continuation towards the downside on Tesla underneath our previous day lows. Absolutely fantastic day towards the downside. Haven't done a trade recap in about a week. It's been a little bit of a slower start to the month, taking a lot of small green break even and red trades. But really, today was, of course, the best day towards the downside. So I'm going to do a recap of today. And then as the week ends, we'll do a full recap on my trade statistics, some of the trades I took earlier this week. With that being said, let's pull up the charts to see exactly what the trade I ended up taking today, which was on Tesla towards the downside. Ended up making $14,000. Still in some trailers, so not the full final realized P&L. I'll have that up for you guys later into the week. But before we go on to the trade, let's go on to the game plan coming into market open. For the game plan coming into today here, as you can see, April the 7th, coming to the market open, you can see we had another big move in the overnight session, previous day high to previous day lows. What I like to see is the reaction that we have off the previous day lows coming into market open. Main thing today, of course, is the news with the news that we have at 8 p.m. tonight with the deadline with the war news that we have. As for my main watches today coming to market open, it's going to be Tesla. Weak yesterday underneath previous day lows, looking for a pop and fade once again towards the downside. So Tesla was one of our main watches towards the downside. Really, Tesla has been weak the past couple of days. Plus, of course, one of the bearish news catalysts that we've have is the SpaceX IPO, really kind of pushing the markets towards the downside. But that was really the game plan coming into today. We're keeping an eye out on Tesla underneath our previous day low, as I mentioned. So coming into market open, let's look at the pre-market game plan. So as you can see here for Tesla, if we're looking at this on the daily time frame perspective, last week we rejected off our previous level of support, turn into resistance. As you can see, bigger push towards the downside here. And then yesterday, we're looking for some more downside as well underneath that previous day lows that we have marked out. Kind of draw out that previous day low general area. Underneath previous day low, we can see a push down in towards our 352. So coming into this morning, the key levels that I have marked out on Tesla, as I mentioned, previous day lows, well, this was from yesterday, and then we had another low marked out, which was that 352, and then we had our previous day lows. So coming to market open, we had two game plans. Game plan number one was looking for the potential pop and fade off that 352 for continuation towards the downside. Another possible scenario underneath that previous day lows, continuation towards the downside here as well. So coming to market open, you can see right off the bat, underneath our previous day lows, within the first 5 minutes, or let me speed up the tape. As you can see here, within the first 5 minutes of market open, breaking underneath that previous day lows. So now we're going to be looking for that previous day low retest for that push down in towards that full gap fill here on the daily chart. So for Tesla, ended up entering here on the reclaim as it broke back underneath, a little bit more of an aggressive entry. And then my stop was a break above this 347.50, looking for continuation towards the downside, right? Previous day low key level, based off the 5-minute time frame, looking for continuation towards the downside. So price came down. Personally, didn't take any scales off, was up nicely, about 20% here. Didn't take any off because I want to see continuation. Came all the way back up, close to my stop. Rejected off this area. Qs was rejecting here as well. And then we end up having nice continuation. And as you can see, price broke underneath, 5-minute range low held, right? Scaled some into that first initial drop towards the downside and then held some for that 5-minute range low. This, of course, could have been another entry point. I kind of talked about, I'll mention this here in the live session that I'll show you guys in a second. Another potential re-entry here on Tesla off that 5-minute range low, looking for that full gap fill. So one of the main targets here on Tesla, we kind of just scaled down to that 342, right? 340, and of course that main gap fill here, which was at 338 on the daily chart. Tesla basically just held key levels all day, right? If you're to mark out our up close candles, we have that 5-minute range low marked out, rejected. Another up close candle here on the 5-minute time frame as well. If you're looking at this from a 5-minute perspective, up close candles held, another up close candle held as well. And then we had that nice continuation towards the downside, all the way down in towards that full gap fill that I mentioned here. So you can see held that 5-minute order block and then pushed down in towards that full gap, which happens to be that 338. If you go into the daily time frame, if we look all the way back here left, this was all the way back from September of last year. We have this gap up in the overall markets before we end up having this original push towards the upside. And as you can see, created a gap. So we're looking for that full gap fill back down in towards that 338. Ended up filling that gap. And as you can see, currently where we're at, we're basically filled that gap, as you can see here on the higher time frame. So that was an absolutely fantastic trade on the overall markets. As for the major indices, really we're looking for weakness underneath that previous day lows. As you can see, overall Qs, consolidation rejected off our key levels underneath that previous day low, continuation towards the downside. This previous day low retest would have been absolutely fantastic. Similar thing here with the SPY, previous day lows, mark out this general area, previous day low retest, continuation down and towards our pre-market lows here and below. So that was the main thesis here on the overall market. Now, with that being said, let me pull up the live session that we have for us today. Okay, so yeah, coming into so let's go over the live session quickly and what we have coming to market open. But as you can see here, really we're keeping an eye out on the QQQ off our previous day lows, or sorry, that 586 key level. Tesla, as I mentioned here, we're keeping an eye out on the 345 puts. If you can reclaim back underneath, interested in Tesla for a little bit more of an aggressive entry towards the downside. Looking for continuation towards the downside right off the bat. As Tesla broke underneath, right? You can see Qs right at key levels here as well. We're right at that previous day low. So got into Tesla, hit low of day, wanted to see more continuation. So holding for a break above this 347. As Qs is kind of consolidating here, Tesla's coming back up, but Tesla's still holding it based off the 5-minute time frame. So one thing to talk about here is there's a few different ways to kind of manage your position, right? If you're on the 1-minute time frame, you can enter here. Let's say you scale some, cut it. You can look for a re-entry for continuation with a tight stop, or you can enter, if you don't sell, you can hold for that original stop based off the 5-minute for a continuation lower. So based off this market, right, there's been a lot of kind of reversals at low of day plus high of day. So you can either be one, right, scalp more, and then look to kind of capture that final move plus trailers, right, to kind of capture that final move on the trailer. So let's say you buy here, sell here, and then leave 10% in case it wants to run. Similar thing, you buy here, sell here, and then wait for that 10 to 20% if it does want to run, right? That's kind of been the 1-minute time frame since there's not too much follow through. A lot of the bigger moves have been happening on the 15-minute and the 5-minute time frame. So you're going to have to hold on to the trades a little bit longer, and you're going to have to give it a little bit more wiggle room if you want to capture that full trade thesis. So in here, I didn't scale any off at low of day. I was looking for that higher time frame thesis. End up having that nice drop here on Tesla, that first push towards the downside, scaled some as it approached that 342. Q's breaking underneath here as well. SPY, you can see that immediate retest. As for Tesla now, all we're looking for is the hold of that 5-minute range high, Q's 5-minute range high, and of course we have Tesla. All we're looking for is that pop and fade hold for that continuation lower, right, underneath that 5-minute range high. So price coming back up. Tesla rejected this level perfectly. I'm kind of explaining that thesis here. I'm talking about another possible re-entry on Tesla towards the downside with the Qs kind of rejecting off this key level here as well. As you can see, I'm kind of explaining this overall thesis in the live session. And then as you can see, Tesla drop, Qs drop, nice drop towards the downside. And then as you can see, just kind of scaling along the ways here for Tesla. And then of course we had that full gap fill marked out, which ended up pushing all the way back towards the downside, which was nice. So yeah, that is it. Then Tesla came back up 342. But that was the level that I rejected for that full gap fill towards the downside. But yeah, that is going to be it for me today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the trade recap. If you did, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. Another quick thing to mention is that we do have the Accelerator 2-year anniversary sale going on. So if you are interested in that, I'll drop the link in the description below. It's most likely going to be our last time we do have a sale for the lifetime subscription. So if you are interested in trading with us every single day, that is going to be the link in the description below. But with that being said, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Peace.